Truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. This is Faith and Melody, and today we're talking about the language of listening, where we'll explore how listening can bring laughter, clarity, and joy to friendships. We're excited for you to join us to share your thoughts and your insights. So let's get this show started. Grab your tea, your coffee, your water, and let's listen to the first INC original music that'll be playing on our playlist, which is titled Dapat Kumpletuhin. Kuya Tech, take it away.
Sa bawat araw at oras ng buhay natin, dama natin ang pag-ibig ng Diyos sa atin. Nang tayo'y tawagin sa iglesia, tayo'y nagkapaglilingkod sa Kanya. Gawin naman natin ang bahagi natin, panahon at oras ay di dapat sayangin. Laging isa-isip na tayo'y may takbuhin na kailangan natin tapusin. O tiyak na tuloy lang, panghawakan ang kahalanan. May hadlang man, may pagsubok man, may Diyos tayo maaasahan. O tiyak na bagahan ang pangako ng Ama na kaligtasan. Kaya gawin ang buong makakaya. Tayo na at ituon ang paningin sa patutunguhan natin. Tapuhin natin ay ating kumpletuhin. Tungkulin dapat ganapin. Ituon ang paningin sa patutunguhan natin. Tapuhin natin ay ating kumpletuhin. Tungkulin dapat ganapin. Patuloy tayong umasa, saan man naroon ay magtiwala sa Kanya. Kaya dapat laging matatag, ano man ang mangyari, puso natin panatag. Huwag tayong mag-alala, hindi tayo nag-iisa. Sa oray darating, hindi tayo dapat mangamba. Manalig lang palagi, ano man ang mangyari. Hirap man maranasan mo, may pangarap sa daan. Huwag tayong kakaligo, tuloy lang sa pagkakpa. Makakamitin natin ang gantimpalang ng kalaan. Ipangako natin sa Diyos, sama
baby steps. It's another day, don't forget God's just a prayer away. Don't give up now, trust the process and keep learning. And if you need a friend, we're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, together, together. Together as a family in faith and melody.
Welcome everyone to Faith and Melody, the program where we have meaningful conversations on our faith as members of the Church of Christ, while we also listen to INC original music. Greetings to all viewers, especially those who are tuning in right now from the Philippines. It's a brand new day there. And whether you're tuned in with us live or on the replay later on, welcome to today's episode of Faith and Melody with our topic today, which is language of listening. I am your sister Belle or Arabelle Celestina coming all the way from London here in the district of Britain South. And not to worry, I'm not the only one here. Here we have our Kuya.
Hello, hello everyone. Good day, good afternoon, and good evening. Or for those who in the Philippines, magandang umaga, tanghali at gabi. This is your Kuya J Esperanza, broadcasting all the way here in the land down under in the district of Victoria, Australia. So hello, hello to everyone. And Sister Belle, not only is it a new day, but it's actually a new month, right? For everyone. We are in the beginning of February 3 or 4, depending on what your current time zone is or whenever you're watching this particular episode. But right now, for us live, it is currently, for me, February 4. For Sister Bell, February 3. For those in the Philippines, also just turned February 4. It is over there because it's just after midnight. So, hello, hello to everyone. We're very excited for you to join us for a new month and a new episode of Faith and Melody here. And if it is your first time listening into Faith and Melody, here's what you can expect for our broadcast for today. So, Faith and Melody, of course, means we have a lot of melody or a lot of songs that we have selected especially for you for our topic discussion today. So that is our curated selection of INC original music. But if you do have INC original music that you would like us to play for you, especially for those who are watching live, let us know in our YouTube live chat, and we will get our Kuya Tex, our Kuya Nico, and our Kuya Irene helping us out tonight to try and get that song played for you. If not, on tonight's episode later in the week here on Faith and Melody. We've also got, before we get into our topic discussion, about the language of listening. We also have our icebreaker segment just to break the ice, get into the swing of things before we get into our topic discussion. And later on, we have our verse of the week. So we hope that you can join us. You can be with us and share with all the fun and all the discussion that we'll be having today. If you are currently tuned in to our replay, if you're listening to our replay episodes on Sundays, or if you're watching our replays there on our YouTube channel, we do invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel of INC Radio DZM954. You can then join us on our live chat and join in the discussion. We're here live for those in the Philippines, Tuesday to Friday at 12:01 a.m. or at midnight. But for those who are in the States, because we do have a lot of viewers coming from Canada and from the US, from other parts of the world, generally it's Monday to Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for that particular time zone. And for those as well that's tuning in on our YouTube channel, we do invite you to hit that like button that's there on YouTube, this little thumbs up button. So make sure you hit that as well, and you share the video or the YouTube link to your friends and loved ones so that more people can join us in our broadcast for today. So as we said, before we get into our topic discussion, we'll go ahead. Let's break the ice with a quick game. It's time for our icebreaker.
Icebreaker!
Yes, so for our icebreaker for today, we're going to request our Kuya Nico or Kuya Irene to put us, po, if we can, have Sister Belle and I up on the screen at the same time, because we are going to have a little quick game, and we do invite everyone to play along. This is an oldie. It's called Say It Your Way. And I hope that this will fit on the screen. We'll see. We have a couple of Tagalog words. So for those who have been listening to us before, and if it is your first time, Sister Bell and I, well, I'm not sure. Sister Bell, are you proficient? Proficient? Are you? Do you speak Tagalog well?
I can have some conversations in Tagalog, just
Okay.
a bit.
So you're most likely going to be better at this than I am. So I'm quite my Tagalog is very broken. So apologies for all the Tagalog speakers, but we have a couple of Tagalog words here that we will be trying to say it, and it's okay. You can say it however you want. And for those who are listening live with us right now, jump over to our YouTube channel so that you can see the words that we'll be displaying up on the screen, because we have a few Tagalog words listed here. And we'll start with our first one. We'll put it up on the screen there, and I hope this will fit and that you can see it. Yes, you can see it. Nice. Okay, so this word is, again, in Tagalog. It actually means to take, to sigh, to take a deep breath, like when you sigh, right? So, Sister Bella, I'll let you go first um, on pronouncing. And I've actually put this in easiest to hardest. So this is,
Okay.
I believe, this is the easiest one. Okay, so for those who are listening in that may not be Tagalog speakers, like me, I'm not very well versed in speaking in Tagalog. You can give this a try at home. At least we won't be able to hear you. So, Sister Bell, this word, go ahead. How would you say the word that's up there on the screen?
Buntong hininga.
Buntong hininga. So that's how I would say this one. Like I said, this is the easiest one of the four that I put here. Okay, so buntong hininga. Maybe we can ask our Kuya Nico and Kuya Irene to just message us. Does that sound right, po? When we say buntong hininga, walang accent. Is it clear when we say buntong hininga? I think it is, right? So I remember I've heard this many times. Have you ever used this word, Sister Bell?
No, not really, but I would
Not in conversation?
use the other, like the half of it, like hin hininga, like huminga ka, like breathe.
Breathe, right? So buntong hininga is like a deep breath, or like when you do a sigh, when you sigh deeply, like right. That's buntong hininga, right? So sometimes it's a positive buntong hininga. Sometimes it's a not. Maybe it's like getting some weight off your shoulders. Buntong hininga, right? So there you go. That's our first one. Let's move on to the second word. Okay, so the second word is there on the screen. So again, if you are listening in, jump over to our YouTube channel so you can see the Tagalog word that we're playing for our icebreaker today. This one is a little bit harder, and it actually means unbelievable. I think that's the meaning, right? It means unbelievable. So while Sister Bell is kind of like mouthing the words first, let's say hello. I'll go ahead and give a couple of read a couple of the first greetings from our YouTube live chat. Our Ohana that's listening in, that's saying hello to us. So we have our Kuya, our Christian Roda, one of our early birds, our first greeters there on our YouTube live chat right now, saying, "Have a blessed Tuesday morning, everyone, on Faith and Melody. Happy watching. Greetings from local of Noveleta, district of Cavite, here in the Philippines." So I know it's just after midnight. So Kuya Christian, thank you so much for staying up and just sending us a quick message there. We also got Sister Flor Delis Failano saying happy hello and happy viewing from Salinas, district of Silicon Valley, California. Salinas, I hope I pronounced that correctly. But thank you so much, Sister, for tuning in with us. Ka Rufina Glindo saying happy watching from Sister Yoli Glindo and family, lokal ng Malacanang, distrito ng Palayan City, Nueva Ecija. I believe that's what that is. So there you go. You can kind of tell that my Tagalog speaking is not the best.
You're doing great so far, Kuya. Don't
All
worry.
right. Ka Andy P. Kiloy saying hello po from the locale of Portsmouth, Ecclesiastical District of Britain South. So good afternoon to you, Brother Andrew. Sister Carolyn Shank, our Sister Care at the Care one of our hosts of Faith and Melody as well, saying there in our YouTube live chat, greetings to us, our hosts here, and happy viewing from the locale of Sacramento. So Sacramento's in the house, District of Northeast California. Our Kuya Rod Kahayag is there pala. Hello, Kuya Rod, saying hello to us, and to our Kuya Tex as well. Kuya Rod is greeting all of us here. Ready for Faith and Melody. Greetings from Livermore, Northeast California. And of course, our brother Mario Oka saying good midnight and enjoy watching here on Faith and Melody. Because Kuya Mario is also from the Philippines. It is a little bit late there, just after midnight. So thank you to Kuya Mario as well for staying up with us. But yes, back to you, Sister Bell. How would you say this word that's on the screen?
Okay, I would pronounce it di kapani paniwala.
Maybe I should go first because when I
Okay.
hear your pronunciation, I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that exactly. Di kapani paniwala. Is that right? Di kapani paniwala. Am I wait? Is my emphasis in the wrong place?
Um, I'm not sure, but I think it's okay, kuya. Di
uh,
kapani paniwala.
di kapani pani
Uh,
di kapani paniwala.
I
Which means
think
unbelievable. So if I
yeah.
said that correctly, that's pretty unbelievable. But yes, the kapani paniwala. That's how I would say it.
Yes.
I probably
But
wouldn't ever use it in a sentence.
I
Right.
myself don't know if it's actually correct, but yeah, I think it sounds correct so far from how we're saying it. We should have
Right.
had our Kuya text here on the panel with us just to tell us if it's right or wrong.
Maybe our brothers, our ohana, that's from especially from those who speak Tagalog fluently, can give us a great a rating, right? Maybe you can score us 1 to 5, right? You can just type it there. Kuya R Christian Roda still there, Kuya Mario Oka. Ano po? Give us a grading po between 1 to 5. One being needs a lot more work. A great rating of 5 means very very good, right? What is our rating for Sister Bell's? Sister Bell, you say it again.
Di ka paniwala.
And then my one, which is Di ka paniwala. I think it sounds about the same. But what would be your rating? Let us know. I mean, if they give us a rating, that would be nice. We can know which one to work on. We've also got a few other greetings. I think I just saw Sister Diodone Shirley. That's there in our live chat saying good morning po to everyone. Greetings from Petit Guave, Haiti, District of Caribbean. So thank you to Sister Shirley. We're currently playing a quick icebreaker game. We're trying to say Tagalog words in however way that we can. Kuya
Kuya
Tex,
text
our
with a
Kuya
4.
Tex gave us a 4, so that's pretty good, right? That's up there. That's up there. That's near a
Yes.
5. All right, let's do the third one. Okay, so this next word, again, like I said, it is getting harder and harder. And I think, I don't know, I feel like this is either the hardest or the next one might be the hardest. But um, I will go first because Sister Bell is a lot better at speaking Tagalog than I am. Wow, Sister Care gave us 7, and Kuya Rod Kahaya gave us a 5. Right, so thank you
Oh.
to Kuya Rod. I think Care is like going, oh, that's a 7. That's even better than better. Okay, so this word, give this a go for those who are tuned in as well. This Tagalog word, which actually means worrisome. Worrisome, being really worried. A person that worries a lot, right? So this is my version of saying this. Nakakapagpaga. Wait. Na nakakapagpabagabag. Is that wait? I think that's it. Okay. Nakakapagpabagabag. Yes, that's my. Uh, uh, be gentle for those who are going to give me a rating of 1 to 5. 1 to 5 lang. Kuya Christian Rhoda gave us a 6. I think that might have been for the earlier one. But what's your rating for my say it of nakakapagpabagabag? Sister Bell to Kuya Texas to Sister
It's
Bell.
a
Your turn.
it's a long word as well. It's so hard.
No wonder it means worrisome. I mean, I'm just worried just looking at it. Go ahead, Sister Bell. You give it a go.
Okay. um, nakakapagpagaba. Wait, I fumbled it. Wait,
That
wait.
was better than me. That sounded
Wait,
legit.
I got confused with the syllables. Okay, nakakapagpabagabag. Nakakapagpagbagabag. Wait, I got confused. Nakakapagpabagabag. Yes,
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah,
think
I
I
think
got
it's the
that.
confusing part, right? The pag
Yeah,
pa
towards the
ba.
end.
The middle is confusing me because it says pag pa ba. Did I write it correctly?
Gabag.
Pag pa ba ga bag. Yeah, I did write it correctly. Okay, so one more time, Sister Bell, so that they can give you a rating.
Okay. Um, nakakapagpabagagbag. I was gonna say the G again. It's a
Kuyatek,
3, okay?
three. Bit better than mine, better than my two. Our Christian Roda gave you a two, I think, or gave me a two. I'm not sure who that number two is from Kuya our Christian is, but yeah, we're both like in the two or three. We're in the lower end. We need a
Kuya
little bit more
Rod
work.
said 3 for effort. Thank you, Kuya.
Well done, Sister Bell. Nakakapag pabagabag. Anyway, let's move on to the last one. We're gonna get stuck on this word, but for those who are playing along, this word means worrisome. So someone who is always worrying. Okay, let's move on to the last one, and I think this is probably an easy one again, just
Oh.
to end it off, but it's basically kind of like one set of words times four. But uh, I will go first because Sister Bell will probably get this on the first go. But this means my way of saying this is ba 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 ba. Right? So I think if you just say it fast, right? If you just say it fast, it comes across correctly. Ba 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 ba. Baba Baba. There you go. That's my one, which actually means going down. So I believe you would use this if you're asking someone, like say at the elevator or at the lift. I don't know what you would call it. If you'll ask them, "Oh, is it going down?" Right? Or is that how you use it? I think that's how you would use it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You would
yeah.
asking someone if you is it going down or are you going down? Sister Bell, how would you say this?
Baba baba, since it's a question.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because it's got a question mark.
Yeah.
Ba ba ba. Okay, so I have to
Yeah.
put that at the end of it, kind of make it like a question mark. But
I
there you
took
go.
care. I took care. Put here. Shooby-doo, wah, wah.
Well, Ate Bell, our Kuya Tech gave you a five, so they gave you the highest score. So
My
there you
first
go. Well
5
done.
out of all the words.
I think Kuya Rod Kahaya gave you the 10, right? She gave, I think Care gave you the 10 as well. So there you go. Although we're rating up to five, they're giving you like double that, right? They're giving you a 10. Well, there you go. So hopefully you enjoyed a little icebreaker. I feel like we've well and truly broken the ice, right? So, and hopefully you've learned a couple of Tagalog words now that you can go and use with your friends, right? You can ask them ba 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 ba, and the
And
other
it's funny
one,
because the answer could be ba ba ba.
oh right, because you're asking them like, are you going down? And what's the answer? And then you can give them. Wait, you're asking the question, are you going down? And the answer can be
Ba ba ba.
ba
Because you're
ba ba
going
ba
down.
ba. So that's three bas as well,
Yeah.
right? So this has four bas, and the other one has three bas. Okay, ba,
Yeah.
which means what does it
It's
mean?
going down.
Going down. Okay.
Yeah.
Kuya Rod Kahayag is giving us 10 for the both of us, 10 for effort, right? So
Yay.
thank you so much for that. Kuya Tex, Kuya Nico, and Kuya Irene, thank you as well for giving us the rating. Kuya R. Christian Roda says perfect 10 down. So salamat Kuya R. Christian for the support, for the giving us the rating of 10. That is our Tagalog. Say it your way. Maybe we'll do this again in another, maybe like the next month or something like that. We'll try and find a couple more hard Tagalog words to say. But yeah, I mean, if there are any Tagalog words for, especially like Kuya R Christian or anyone else out there would like to send through, don't forget that you can always send through a quick email to our email faith and melody at incradio.net and say, send us an email and say this is for the Say It Your Way Tagalog version, right? And you can send it there. But with that, I think the ice is well and truly broken. So we're gonna, before we proceed over to our topic discussion about the language of listening. So we were kind of like listening to each other just then. We're going to listen to two INC original music. Just a quick little break there. The next two songs, Sister Bell, what are we gonna be listening to?
So the first song will be Now That Salvation Is Near. It's a pop rock version. And the second one is entitled I Sing Your Praises. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
Was long ago, the word was conceived. Salvation was planned for those who believe. So God had chosen His people to glorify Him, but they did not hear His calling. They kept denying. Then came the time. The plan must be done. Once was the Word became man. He lived among us and suffered the pain of living. He gave His life for the chosen. The curse was broken. Angels from heaven gave praise to all His wonders. His eternal grace, He drew us nearer to all His blessings and unceasing care. And then He guided us through it all and promised us He'll always be there. In these last days, the prophecy so in the ends of the earth, the world will behold. From just one man to a nation, strong and faithful, doing God's will and decision. Forever thankful now that salvation is near. We must be stronger, ready to cast all our fears. Our light shines brighter, and when the world seems so bleak like the night, realize that He's coming to save us all, give us eternal life. We are the lanterns that light up the world. Christ gave us rights to be children of the Lord. Angels from heaven gave praise to all His wonders. He gave His eternal grace. He drew us nearer to all His blessings and unceasing care. And then He guided us through it all and promised us He'll always be there. That salvation is near. We must be stronger, ready to cast all our fears. Our light shines brighter, and when the world seems so bleak like the night, realize that He's coming to save us all, give us eternal life.
Ready? Ready. Say.
Sing your praises, Lord, hallelujah. Feel your great love for me. Your words of truth that shine here in my heart. They're burning brightly for all to see. Thank you, Lord, for your mercy on me.
You see an angel find all those who would sin. A man from the far east, through him your mystery revealed. Oh, he preached of the promised eternal life, and how your son, the Savior, my Lord Jesus Christ, died for me. I sing the praises, Lord, hallelujah. I feel your great love for me. Your words of truth shine here in my heart, burning bright for all to see. Thank you, Lord, for your mercy on me.
Sing your praises, Lord, hallelujah. Feel your great love for me.
Your words of truth shine here in my heart, burning bright for all to see. I sing the praises, Lord, hallelujah. I feel your great love for me. Your words of truth shine here in my heart, burning bright for all to see. Thank you, Lord, for your mercy on me.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to Faith and Melody. And yes, we are proceeding over to our topic discussion now, which is again titled Language of Listening. Because when we talk about listening, it's more than just the words that we say, right? There's a lot of things that fall into place when you're talking about listening to someone. So, therefore, just to quick start this conversation, we want to like invite everyone to join us. And as we ask the first part, just to kick things off, what's your favorite type of conversations, right? The discussions that you like to have with your loved ones, with your friend. What's your favorite kind of conversation, the type that you would have there? So, like, we can talk about so many things, but what's that type of conversation that you're after? On the panel here, we got, of course, myself, yours truly, your brother Jay, and of course, Sister Bell. So, Sister Bell, over to you first. What's the type of conversation that really look forward to having when you're talking to your friends or your loved ones?
Well, for me, there isn't really one theme or one type of conversation because the whole conversation itself uh is it has its dynamics. So it can start off with like, just chatting about, and it's just really lighthearted, and usually, I don't know, it's just really a fun conversation about anything, or like we're just joking around, and like we just add up to what do you call it, to each, like, to that one to that one joke. We just keep adding stuff to make it even more funnier. So yeah, I feel like that's how it usually starts off as. And then like once we're calmed down, that's when like our deep heart to heart like conversation starts. So like about life or reminiscing about like the fun memories. But yes, there isn't really one type of conversation that I usually have. But that of course depends on the person that I'm talking to. But for example, with my siblings, like we have a lot of like lighthearted banter. But I am also able to have uh deep heart to heart conversations with them, which is really fun. But yes, I really prefer like um having heart to heart conversations in a way where nowadays we've been so busy. Everything is so fast paced that we tend to forget to make time for conversations like that. So I mean,
Mm.
you can always have like small talk with anyone, or like joke around. I mean, it's something that you can have with almost anyone, but those intimate or really deep conversations are, they aren't really as often because, I mean, um, it takes time, of course, but at the same time, you won't have a conversation like that just with anyone. You
Yeah,
of
no,
course
that's true.
you'd like to open up to like your loved ones or your close friends. So of course, um, that is something that makes it even more special or unique in that way. So I mean, I prefer that because I feel like it's more special in that way because it's not as often and it's really genuine. The whole conversation usually um, is genuine and everything is like out in the open. And yeah, that's why I like that type of conversations far more. But yes,
No, I agree with that because I like how you use the word genuine because when you're having because like I was gonna ask you to explain in case there's might be somebody listening that doesn't understand what's a heart to heart conversation, right? But I think you saying using the word like when you're having a genuine conversation with someone, it actually means like everything's out, like your guard is down, right? You're sharing things, and generally you only do this with you don't do this with everyone, right, Sister Bell? Like there are certain friends or certain people might even be like a sibling, a family member, or any of your like a really close friend that you would trust that much more of your your heart to kind of like that's why it's called a heart to heart, right? You're kind of the sort of sharing with them and being a little bit more vulnerable to them, whereas with other friends you might be more guarded, right? Is that how you would explain or describe what a heart to heart conversation is? Or what?
in a way, yes, because it's not that like guarded in a way where oh you don't feel like um you don't feel as close to them, or you feel like you've never had such conversation with that
Mm.
person,
I
not
think
in
I
a
was
way where
thinking, I think I was thinking like you're trying to make a good impression, right, on the person. Like you're trying to, your conversations are just you're trying to like have a like a make a good impression on them in a way. Whereas I think a heart to heart is like you're not afraid to share like your mistakes, right? Because
yes,
generally people don't share that vulnerable side of them, like, oh, I made this mistake, or I'm feeling frustrated at this, or I'm like my day's going not so great because of this, because of that. Like you don't share that with just anyone, right? So I think that's kind of like where I was getting at, right? Not so much like guarded, but like whereas with certain people, it's just like when they ask you how you're doing, you just maybe reply with, "Oh yeah, I'm fine," right? But then when a particular friend, someone that you would confide with, asks you how you're doing, right, and that's someone that you trust, someone that they trust you back and so forth. When they ask you how you're doing, you don't reply with "I'm fine." You actually blah, and you sort of like spill like everything that's going wrong, and it's okay because you have that kind of that relationship that you built, that you've developed with that, with that friend, with that, that your ate, your kuya, your that family member, whoever it might be. But generally, those people are like special, right? They're like, your very close circle of friends. But with other friends, like for me, we just love talking about traveling. It's one of the things that's sort of like the topic of conversation for us right now is traveling, places that we want to visit. Like I mentioned in the past, like I was able to be fortunate enough to go overseas and visit Japan with our friends. Like we all went there at the same time, and it was an experience. It was so cool, right? To be able to for them to experience it for the first time, and us kind of like just being a little bit of a tour guide, but also letting them explore and get lost so that they can, experience being in a whole new place on their own, but then
Yeah.
meeting back together, having dinner, and kind of just like sharing the love for traveling and things like that. But overall, you end up having, again, heart to heart conversations on kind of like what really means, what's really important to them, right? So those are the kind of conversations I feel like is, I don't want to use the word superficial, where you just like saying hello to someone. Whereas we have certain friends where you have like a heart to heart and you're really more open to them. It's like you're developing that connection and that friendship, and it's more closer. When you're able to know that you can share a problem, or you can share something that's frustrating you or annoying you, right, with a particular friend. It's like that friendship, you would probably say, is more stronger than somebody else that you just say hi hello to at the water fountain or something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to that, because I was gonna ask you as well, Sister Bell. Like when it comes to those conversations, how do you prefer to do it? Like, especially with all the ways that we can communicate with each other and that we can talk and listen to each other. You can use conversations in person. You can have conversations over the phone. People have conversations on online, right? Using online chat or online messaging. Like, do you have a preference for a start between those ways of communications?
In-person conversations are usually the best ones because um, you enjoy the conversation more because of the presence of the other person, of course. And you get to see their body language in a way where you get to understand them more, and as well as their tone. That's really important because, like, via text, you don't understand, like, you don't really understand their tone as much as you'd like to because yeah, it's just a text, I mean, um there are emoticons and all that created stuff that you can put in a text,
Yeah.
but it's still not the same as a conversation in person because
And even emoticons, right? They can be misinterpreted, because I've been finding out that the newer generation of young people, they actually have a different meaning to the emoticons that we use now. So, like, depending on the generation, did you know that, Sister Bell?
I
Like,
mean, yeah.
certain emoticons that we use, and that we would use it for, like, just like they a different generation, like, I don't know what the generation is right now, but basically the younger ones, they don't use certain emoticons because it means different things for them. So then if you use it in one way and you think that it means this, but for them it means something else, and it might for them it might mean something negative or something opposite to what you're trying to say, there's a miscommunication in that sense. So I agree with you that in-person communication, actually, now that I'm saying it, right? In-person communication, everyone has their own lingo that they use as well. So, diba, right? Like if you're talking to someone and they're using certain lingo and all these abbreviations, and you don't know what they're talking about. I know a couple of satellite studios of INCRadio have covered like Gen Z lingo and things like that, like the language that they use. They abbreviate things now super small. So even I think in person, there could be a little bit of misunderstanding if you're not speaking the same language. But I think you can pick up on things better in person, right? Because you can, even though you may not understand completely what the language means, in context and how they're saying it and how their expressions are, it's easier to see in person. Like even versus video call, you can see a lot more in person because there's less distractions, right?
Yes.
So actually, in our live chat, there's a couple of I just realized, Arhana, they've got a couple of insights and a couple of greetings. So, did you want to go ahead and read that out, Isabel?
Of course. So, joining us here as well, there is Brother Jordan Agustin saying, "Good morning, fam," and Sister Lani saying, "Happy Monday po, Faith MLD." Oh, Hannah. We also have Brother Stan Amandi saying, "Good morning, Kajin and Sister Bell." And yes, overall, here are some of their insights. Sister Carolyn Shankar Atikare said, her favorite type of conversation is fun and light. So a lot of jokes and lots of laughs. And she also said that also any conversation with a good friend is always good. And I can agree with that because at the end of the day, it's really how like it's really the person that you're talking to that really makes the conversation sometimes. But Clear Rod said here conversation with food. So over a meal. Yes, those are the best type of conversations. At least, you don't get hungry. And we also have
Conversations
here.
without distractions either. Right, that's one of my ones. Is like I love to have conversations, especially if you're trying to have like a heart-to-heart conversation and really get to know how the other person is doing. Right, how's life? How are you? How what's happening with you lately and things like that. And you're trying to confide things and really have that heart-to-heart conversation with a friend. It's nice to have it when there's like very little distractions, mobile phone distractions or even environment distractions, right? So that's why I like to have like an in-person kind of thing. It's easier. Video calls is hard because you can get distracted with anything, right? Somebody could be knocking on the door, somebody could be calling you, sister, right? Somebody could be like messaging you and you're distracted because it's just another screen on your small monitor, right? And it's like, oh, I gotta go to this screen and now I've forgotten that I'm gonna call with you or whatever because all I can hear is your voice. So in person definitely feels like you're setting aside the time for that person, right? So with that, Sister Val, I want to ask you, and of course to everyone that's also listening with us right now, in your experience, like when you're having conversations, how does being a good listener make conversations more enjoyable when either you're the good listener or the person that you're talking to like is a good listener? Like how does that make the conversation more enjoyable in your experience?
You know how when you're really excited about something, you just want to go to one of your friends or like your loved ones and tell them all about it, like with so much excitement. And if their answer is just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure, sure," like your whole excitement and that whole happy feeling kind of fades, not completely, but you just feel rejected in that way where you're like, "Oh, I'm so excited, but then I wanted to share this excitement with you." But yes, you're just not really there. So that's why being a good listener makes a conversation more enjoyable because you're engaging with that person. uh, that's the whole point of a conversation. It's engaging with one another. So if
Engagement,
it
yes.
if it's only one person doing the engagement and the other one is just barely like trying to engage, like at the even less than bare minimum, you're not gonna feel heard or seen because I mean, yes, it's not really that nice. You just feel rejected in that way. And um in that way as well, it's just really important to, you know, not take for granted the fact that you're so able to, like, talk to one another. Sometimes people are really, really busy. So imagine that's the only time you get to talk to that one person, and then they're not really listening to what you're saying, or vice versa. You're not able to focus on what they're saying because you are thinking about something else. So it's just really important to be present in those type of moments, because you know it's not really nice unless you communicate that, oh, I'm not up for this right now, I with no offense, like, and you can postpone it in that way without trying to hurt or dismiss the other person, because it's just not really nice in that way, especially if you know that they're excited about something. It's just not a way where you know it's not a nice way to engage with them in
Yeah.
that way,
And
because
it's got to do with time too, right, Sister Bell?
yeah.
Like the time that everyone's busy, everyone's got things going on, but if you set aside time to speak to someone, right, you want to be present, right? You want to be there and not like, how people can say that you're present, but then your mind is somewhere else because you're thinking about something else or you're distracted with something else. And it's like you're not taking anything in. So I agree with that because I've had that experience before where you're trying to make plans with someone, you're trying to share some good news with someone, and then you end up having to repeat the same thing over and over because they're not listening, right? Because they're distracted. They're not present minded, right? They're thinking about something else, or they're distracted with like all the notifications that's going on their phone, and you almost just want to say, hey, look, is this a bad time? You want me to like reschedule like a time to talk to you about this and whatever, because it just seems rude, right? It seems rude if you're trying to talk to someone. And I think we feel that the same way, like even not just with friends, but even with people that we're trying to inform things in. Like, for example, if you're trying to tell your supervisor at work, maybe your boss, and you're trying to tell them something important, but then they're not listening to you because they're looking at some other reports, they're walking, right? They're walking, and as you're trying to tell them something, they're looking off to the distance and they're giving instructions to another one of your coworkers, but you're trying to tell them something important. Like all of these little things, it doesn't feel like they're listening, and it feels like you're not being heard, right? So I think that's very important that everyone is short on time, even though we all have the same amount of time. But in terms of how busy we are, it's important that, just setting aside, especially when someone wants to share something with you. It's so hard now, right, to make sure that people actually pay attention. Right. We're gonna get into like little stories later on in our discussion of like misunderstandings and things like that, because maybe the other person didn't didn't listen properly and they thought they heard something else. Have you had that, Sister Bell, where they thought, oh, I thought you said this. Oh, I thought we were meeting up at 3 p.m., not at 1 p.m. And you've been here for 2 hours now, and and all that sort of stuff. I thought the birthday party was last week or this week,
Oh.
or all these things. We'll get into some funny stories there. But definitely, when it comes to conversations, it's not just about one person talking, right? It's also about listening to the other person, and there's so much more that goes around that. But before we continue on the discussion, Sister Bell, I'll pass it over to you just to read a couple of our comments from our Ohana that's watching there live on our live chat, and then we'll take a quick break before we continue on with the rest of this.
So here, um, brother R. Christian Rhoda said, "I want to go home to listen more uh, and sharing love with your conversation." Thank you. And brother Rod said, it makes it more enjoyable because they understand you, and you're able to go deep in your conversation. I think understanding each other is key. Might need more explanation and patience. That's true. We just There's no point of communicating if there's no understanding, or if you're just communicating or answering to what they said, just like you're listening to what they said just to answer to what they said instead of understanding what they said or shared with you, if that makes sense. But Kuya Rod also shared here another acronym. He said language. Listening at new genre using all gears engaged. That's really good, Kuya. And I don't know if you read the one from earlier as well, Kuya, the one with listening. He said
No, no,
listening
go ahead.
he said listening in seriousness to each other's news, instilling new growth. So that's the word listening for you. Wow. I'm amazed, Kuya Rod. That's really good. Oh, here, sister. Ate Carolyn Chang said, "No response is a response." So
I
yes,
don't know why, but I like that, Sister Bell. I like that what Sister Care shared there. No response is a response, right? I want to hear from, I don't know if Ate Care can elaborate on what her perspective is on that. But for some reason it strikes a chord with me, right? Hearing that no response, like, especially if you're talking to someone, even if it's like over the phone or in person, but they have no response to what you're saying, like there,
yeah,
that is a response, right? That tells you
yeah,
something. I take care, what does that tell, but for you, like, what does it tell you, right? We would love to know
yeah.
more, but
That
go ahead, Sister Bell.
yeah, you that's why it's important to understand and sometimes try to read between the lines of a conversation or their tone, at the end of the day, we're human beings, we're complicated. But at the same time, we should always try to be there for one another and understand each other, especially as Christians inside the Church of Christ. But with that said, we will have a pause, just a quick pause uh, here in our conversation, and we will go on to our next musical break. And we have prepared for you two songs again. The first one, it'll be Batter Cry 2.0, and the second one is a song request by Atakare, which is entitled Let's Keep Growing Stronger in Our Faith. We'll be right back.
Your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
Church of Christ, our flame of faith is growing stronger. It's not only in the Philippines, but even around the world, all over. This is the rightful thing to do, yeah. Let's encourage one another, brethren, let's edify, comfort one another, so that in the holy city we will all be together. My brethren in the Church of Christ, let's all stay pure and contrite, because those who are upright strive to renew their lives. Oh, oh, and don't you ever waste it, the love and care and guidance that comes from the church administration. Cause it's their fervent desire that each one of us reaches heaven. This holy mission that all uphold. Keep on growing stronger in our faith. This holy mission that's all uphold.
Your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
And that was Battle Cry 2.0, and let's keep growing stronger in our faith. If you would like to listen to more INC original music, you can hop on onto two YouTube channels. So the first one is INC Original Music, and the second one is Iglesia Ni Cristo Production Company. And we also have a mobile application, which is INC Playlist, which is also available for both iOS and Android users. But last not but not the but last and not the least, we also have um, our INC original music on Spotify. So as you can see, it is available almost everywhere. So uh, for you just to have inside your phone or in any other device where you listen to music. But with that said, let's hop on back onto our topic discussion. We were talking about, the various types of conversations that you can have with a friend, and how being a good listener has so many benefits into a conversation. So with that said, since our topic discussion is about listening, is there a time, or do you recall a time when a misunderstanding led to something funny? So we mentioned earlier about the many ways to understand someone who you're talking to. So there's many ways such as body language, tone, and even their lingo, right, Kuya Jay? So is there a time when you thought you understood something, but the person said something else and it led to a funny situation? Okay,
I think
everyone.
yeah, sorry. I think there's a lot of little examples like that, especially when it comes to I don't know about for your family, Sister Bell. Like for us, we have a shopping list chat, right? And basically whenever I'm out and there's like, oh, okay, is there anything that and I message Sister Gem and I ask her, oh, is there anything that you need me to get since I'm out here at the grocery stores, right?
Yeah.
And then she'll be like, oh yeah, just check out the shopping list and everything, and I would look through it and there's be certain things that be like, oh, the reason why I don't purchase things like fruits and meats and anything for the pantry is because that's what Sister Gem just writes on the chat. It's just like fruits, and I'm like, what fruits? which how many fruits? When she writes there, okay, sometimes she would write like onions, and I'm like, how many onions does she want? Right? So like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I need quantities, right? And sometimes I would just bring back, it's like, oh, okay, I just want like I want potato. So I brought back a potato. And it's like, why is there only one potato? It's like where you should have just gotten the bag. There's a bag of potatoes there. And like it probably just shows that I don't do groceries that much. That's probably what it's saying. Right? But sometimes you really gotta like listen and like ask the questions. One thing that funny that happened very recently, just last month actually. Well, okay, it's February now, so technically it was in December where it happened. We ended up with four birthday cakes for for Helena, and it happened because like Jem was at the shops at the grocery store, and she was asking, "Oh, should I get a cake for Helena's birthday?" And I was like, "Oh, I think she just wants to bake something." And then then Jem sent me a photo of a cake, and I said, "No, how about the brownies?" And then because like so like Lena can bake it, and then she ended up bringing the two of them when I just asked her to just bring one. It's like, oh, okay. So now that we have two cakes, right? So she brought the brownies and she brought this little birthday cake. And then we ended up going to our friend's place and they ended up giving a birthday cake as well. And then we told my sister, so I was telling my family we were having like you know like an online chat, and then she thought that Lena didn't have a cake. That's how she understood it. So she ended up sending a cake through one of those apps where they can send it to your door. So like by the
Oh.
afternoon, we ended up with a birthday cake from my sister, a birthday cake from a friend, and then two cakes that Jem bought. So we ended up with four birthday cakes over December
That's
for her
really
birthday,
funny, Kuya.
which is like just little misunderstandings like that. But it's true, it can happen, right? Like you either didn't take it seriously or you didn't ask enough questions and you just went with your gut. And sometimes you should never assume. That's something that I've learned in life. One of the life lessons that I'm passing on out there to everyone: don't ever assume anything, like especially if you're trying to make decisions on anything, or you think you heard it right. Like it's always better to get clarification, right? To ask again, or at least like listen properly the first time. But yeah, how about you, Sister Bell? I know you probably got a couple of stories with all of your siblings, right? has, has
Okay,
there
so
been any misunderstandings there?
um this one, it was back in Italy. We used to live on the fourth floor, but yeah, my mom was still upstairs, like by the door, and me and my sisters were already like me and my siblings were already like on the ground floor, but you could still like you can still communicate with one another because it's an open staircase like within the building, so you can
Right.
hear from upstairs what you're saying because like it's just in the open. And um I was asking to bring an eyeliner, like I don't know, but I needed something, for, I think it was for an event, and I was asking mom, oh, I forgot my eyeliner. Can you please bring it? And then because I didn't have to go. We were in a rush, so I didn't have time to go back up and then go back downstairs. But my mom was still there. She was closing up the door, and I asked her to bring it for me. And once we were at the bus stop, she pulled out a hanger because she heard hanger. So I was like, "Why did you bring a hanger?" He's like, "You said hanger," and so and then I said, "Oh no," I said eyeliner, not hanger. So it was just really funny, and yes, I mean, I don't remember, but I don't remember much because that was a few years ago. But it was just so funny that Erin started laughing so hard as well. I mean, my sister laughs a lot, so it was just really funny as well.
She was
And
like, she's probably wondering why does she need a hanger? But okay,
exactly.
whatever. I'll just bring the hanger.
So yeah, it was just really. If I feel like for her, it was just really random, but she still picked it up. Um, in terms of whatever she understood from our conversation, because if you think about it, it's still 4 floors upstairs, and I'm on the ground floor with my siblings. I mean, the echo doesn't really help because there was hi Kuya, um, brother Stan, hello, but
We'll give a quick moment for Kristan to introduce himself because he just hopped on here with us. Hi,
I
Kristan.
don't have to. No. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our listeners and viewers of INCRadio's Faith and Melody. But of course, Kuya Stan po from the district of Calgary, Canada. And I kind of left with the hanger um, earlier.
I
I was
gotta
like,
say,
maybe like
I
a
gotta
second,
say
like,
that I
okay,
like your
okay.
your setup there, Kristan. I was like,
Yes,
I was
we're
just there
we're
on
we're
air.
on air.
On air. But how you doing, Kristan? How's things?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Currently at here in Calgary, actually, we're experiencing a little bit of coldness. We're currently at negative 25 degrees Celsius.
wow.
Feels like negative 39. So, stay warm out there as we are experiencing some really windy weather today. So and
We're
snowy.
opposite to you, Kristan. Here in Australia, we're at plus 39 degrees Celsius.
That's amazing, Kuya.
So
I
you're
wish
like
we had
negative.
that weather right now.
But anyway, like yeah, sister, we've been talking about just like some funny misunderstandings that's happened. Sister Belle's talking about her she shared her hanger story, and I just remembered one as well where we were telling my parents to, oh yeah, we'll meet you at that restaurant, and we pointed to the restaurant, right? And then, a couple of moments went by because we had to do something else. We went to the restaurant, we sat down. It's like, oh, they're not here yet, right? We were waiting for like 15 minutes, and it's like, how come they're still not here? Let's give them a call. And then like they're like, where? And then as soon as they picked up, my dad and my mom goes, where are you guys? It's like, what do you mean, where are we? Where are you? And they were looking around the restaurant. Yun pala, they were next door. So we ended up going to, like, they were on the other restaurant. They were right next to each other, but miscommunication, misunderstanding there. But do you have any funny stories, could you stand, of a time when a misunderstanding of communication led to something funny?
Oh, it's always with food. I don't know why for me, but it's always with food. There was one time I went to a sushi restaurant, and back then I didn't know what a roll was. I thought roll was a singular, the singular piece of
Yeah,
is it? Is it thing
that's what I think. That's what I think
now
too.
I'm questioning myself, right? So like, but like, there was a miscommunication, and they thought, basically, I just wanted a one order of that roll of sushi, basically. But they gave me instead, because I said 15, because it was like 15 pieces, I think, for like something like that. But I heard 50, so they were confirming that if I ordered 50, it was like 50, like 50 or 15. I was like
Oh,
15. I said 15 pieces, and they said they almost made 50 in the back, and they said Oh, they 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 almost gave me 50 pieces of sushi that they almost
Wow.
so good thing it was a popular dish, so it got people ordered it as well from other tables, but it was so funny that we had a miscommunication with the waiter there, and then yeah, almost almost ate 50 pieces of sushi that day. So be careful.
Oh, there you go. So, like, listening is really important, like in terms of really paying attention and also making sure that the other person is heard correctly. But with that, Sister Belle, like, I'm gonna pass it over to you first with this part. Like, in terms of, since we're talking about things that are funny, has humor, which since we're talking about funny stuff, has humor and listening ever helped you to resolve small misunderstandings or conflicts, like incorporating humor and also listening?
Yes, for sure. And um it's my sister Ariane. So it's like she laughs a lot. I'm just saying she laughs a lot. Like her standard of funny things is really low. So so she just laughs a lot. So when it comes to like a small like misunderstanding, it's not really that much big of a deal. Once she starts laughing or making a funny joke about it, we all burst into laughter, and it's so funny because sometimes the joke or whatever she said doesn't make sense or is not pertinent to the actual conversation. So we're like, that's so random. Why would you say that? But we still would burst into laughter and then everything is okay. But it's funny because it just like it happens a lot. But I don't mind. Like it's just really funny. And in a way where like yeah, you tend to forget why you were mad in the first place or even like annoyed. So it is a good way of like resolving conflict or just making jokes around it. Like sometimes like you have such a serious tone, and then if you crack a joke then everyone starts laughing, and then it's not as there isn't as much tension as before. So it is a really good way to, you know, um to react to those certain situations. But of course, like there are bigger conflicts or there are bigger situations where you actually need to be more serious. And if you laugh about it, then you're gonna be looked at as if, oh, what's so funny about it? Or uh why you're not taking this seriously. So yes, in terms of that, you just need to be able to read the room before like cracking a joke. Because you don't want to be like you don't want to annoy the people who are annoyed already even more. So you just need to be careful with that. But in terms of like humor, yes, it has helped resolve like small conflicts so far.
You gotta see the finest side in things, right? Especially if it's like an unintentional misunderstanding. You just misheard them or something like that. How about you, Kia Stan? Did humor and listening, did that ever help you get out of a misunderstanding?
Well, so many times, Kuya J, and I remember that I was questioning my parents if like a yes or no question, but they were answering with a reason. I was like, I only asked if you will be there, and I didn't say what time you'll be there. I didn't ask like what like where will you be. It was more like a yes or no answer. So we kind of like had like this little argument. I'm like, "Uh, I just said if it's a yes or no, so just give me
Yeah.
like a yes or no answer." But they were like, "No, I kind of want to be. I'm at this place at this hour at this second." I'm like, only yes or no. But respectively and like politely as well to our parents, and at the end they were like, oh yeah, you ask a yes or no question. Sorry, it could have been, I could have said yes, I will be there. As simple as that. But humor, we just laughed it off because we know that it vice versa too. um us, like the children and the siblings, were also like that too. Like if they're asking a yes or no question, we like reason out like, yeah, we'll be at this place. I won't be there. Like it kind of, uh, kind
you
of.
you end up giving
it-
like a life story of like of everything. You know, that reminds me because it happens to me as well, Kuya Stan. When you ask someone, in particular in my case, like whenever I ask Sister Gem, "Are you hungry?" and then, or you ask them, "What do you want to eat?" and you never get a straight answer, right? It's
I was like,
always
I don't feel it at the moment. Like maybe tomorrow. I was like, I just wanted
yeah.
to
I
ask, like,
mean,
what do you want to eat?
that's where like listening needs to be added with humor and a little bit of sprinkle of patience as well to try and get to the answer,
Yeah.
because you got to navigate it. Sometimes they want to give, all the reasons, and maybe you got to ask them as well. Like one thing that I've realized coming from that scenario many times now, being married and all, uh is that married, you got to understand that some people, they don't give yet. It's a yes or no question, but then it's like, hey, do you want to go eat? And it's not.
Let's see.
That's a yes or no. It's like yes or no. But to them, it's like, well, later on, I'm going to be going to my friend's place, and they're gonna be having some food, I think, but they won't be cooking it until 5 o'clock, which means it won't be ready until 6. You're asking them at like, right? I'm like, okay, but so do you want to eat or right? But so sometimes you just got to give them the space to let it out, right? And you got to sprinkle some patience on top of it to try and get to the answer. I'm actually reading a couple of really funny insights. I don't know if you read it, Sister Bell, but I'm reading
Yeah.
some. Yeah. Okay. Let me go ahead and read it because we don't want to run out of time. I want to give some time to our Ohana's insights here. I'm not sure where we got up to in terms of reading. Okay. Firstly, Ate Care, she replied back earlier when we asked her to elaborate a little bit about the whole no response is a response, especially when you're talking to someone and you're trying to, I guess, listen for their response. But if they don't give a response, Sister Care says it's when someone chooses not to respond or reply to your texts or messages, meaning they're not interested, right? But intentional to not reply. So you got to be careful that sometimes you don't want to be mistaken, especially if it is a mistake, that you not responding can hurt the feelings of the other person, right? Especially when something, if they're telling you something important and they want you to listen and they're confiding in you because you're one of their trusted people. Because not everyone can be considered trusted, especially for certain news and certain things that they want to share. They only share that with like very special people. And you should feel, what's the word? You should feel fortunate that they're sharing that with you. But if they don't, it's like, do you not care about this anymore? Do you not care about, so you got to be careful with that. That's why it's important that when you are communicating, like you're paying attention, that you're there, you're present minded, and you're present as well. Kuya Rod Kahayag, with this particular part of our discussion, shares sometimes you need to listen to what's being said and not to how it's being said. Sometimes you need to listen to what's being said. Oh, wait, just said the same thing, right? Sometimes you have to listen to what's being said and not how it's being said, because it can come across that, especially if the other person may be overwhelmed. I get that, Kuya Rod. I have been known to reply, right? Unintentionally in a wrong tone. Let's just put it that way. Like I'm not using a friendly tone and I don't mean it. It's just because I've got so much other things that I'm thinking of. But I'm listening. I want to reply to your answer. But then what ends up happening is because something else is in the back of my mind, the way that I say the words comes up in a not so friendly manner, right? And Sister Jem has called me out on it, so I'm trying to be more mindful of that, right? So you got to be careful of that as well. And also at the same time, for the other person that's receiving on the receiving end, try not to take it too personally. And maybe you can just clarify, wait, are you saying that in this way or in this other way? At the Zenaida Novestera shares, most of the time with my kids, when we are arguing for a situation, then when I say a word that is not properly spoken, they will laugh and they correct me the way that they are teasing each other already. I know that we used to do that sometimes with my mom whenever she tries to say certain words, like just stuff around the house. Uh, we won't say any of those words just in case it gets taken the wrong way and people misunderstand it. But Sister Melby Tamaya, okay, let's read at Melby's one. When my grandpa said, pass the pork during dinner, and everyone grabbed the meat and asked, you mean the beef? He said, no, I need pork, as in fork to eat with along with my spoon. So he was asking for the fork instead, not the pork, right? Hopefully, did that come across well? Like in terms of how I was saying that. She also
Yeah.
says, I asked my mom, do you need a lift? She said, no, I need a car and ride. And I said, that's what I meant when she said, why couldn't you just say you can give me a ride? Then we both laughed out loud. So, Sister Val, that's kind of like what I'm saying in terms of lingo. Sometimes different generations use different lingos and they're not familiar with us saying the word, oh, do you need a lift? And to them, it's like, no, I need a ride or something along those lines, right? There's always a bit of a miscommunication because of like the lingo that we might use. I have no other examples off the top of my head when it comes to lingo, but Christian, do you have any examples like that? And there's like one particular phrase is used a different way from a different generation because of the lingo. Somebody out there might know something.
I'm trying to recall some of the because that's similar to what Ate Melvi has said there about the ride, and that usually that's kind of my lingo too. Like, do you need like a lift? Do you need you mean? And then they said, do you need to carry? They're like, no, I'm saying like a ride. I'm saying I need like a
Yeah,
like
yeah.
similar, right? Like, because lift sometimes could mean like carry, or in other terms, sometimes my other friend, uh, and she's from she's from Europe, and in the UK, right? They say lift as in the elevator, right? So it's like, oh, you mean, it's like, no, it's more this, and no,
Oh,
no,
that's
even
true.
cultural, right? So even like cultural context like that, it's like chips again.
Mm.
Another popular, kind of United Kingdom term where chips is more on their potatoes, but for us here on the western side, here in North America, we're more talking about the potato chips type of thing.
Isn't it crisps? Isn't it called? Is it crisp? Right,
Yeah,
Sister
Yeah,
Bell?
crisp there uh in
in
the
the
UK.
UK.
And
Yeah.
for us, it's chips or hot chips. It's like-
Oh,
so hot chips
Oh,
are hot chips, and then chips are just regular chips. But then
wow.
sometimes we can use the word chips interchangeably. But I remember that, Kristen. I think it was in Canada or in the US versus here in Australia, when one of us
mhm.
would use the word like a napkin and the other one would be a serviette. But I think they're like two different things. So like people don't use the word
and
serviette. Like
and
over here
eh,
it's called a bin, and over there in the US it's called a
eh,
trash can.
trash can. Yeah, or like, for example, like the sidewalk or pavement.
Pavement,
Like
right?
like that miscommunication too could be kind of confusing for some people, and
So
even like there's so many examples really where even just between Canada and different countries, when you say a bonnet, uh pertaining to like a certain, like a headwear for winter, here we call it toque.
mm,
Oh,
and I
Yeah.
remember like we had like a little thing as well when it comes to a jumper and a hoodie. Do you guys use those terms like what's a hoodie, what's a jumper, what's a pullover? Like they all sound like they're the same thing, but you just gotta be Sister Bell, do you know the difference
I
between a
see Sister
jumper,
Mel
a hoodie,
reacting
and a
to that.
pullover?
a hoodie has a hood, pullover. I don't really use pullover. We say sweater, or um I don't remember the other word. It just slipped my mind. But we don't. I've never heard someone say pullover here so far, or that often at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, hoodie is quite easy because like you got a hood on, so that's okay. But in terms of pullover, maybe like a sweater, like it's just like a knitted sweater or something like that.
Mm. So I think overall from this part, because what we want to do is like we just want to make sure that when we're talking with people, we have clarification, right? Like I think don't assume, especially if it's something important, and especially if you're talking with someone that has a different cultural background, a different lingo that they use, maybe different generation, all these little things, all these little nuances when it comes to communication. That's why listening is important, right? Listening the context, listening how they say it, what they say, and even what they're not saying, right? Especially once you get into that part when you're having a heart to heart conversation with a friend, when you're sharing something, or maybe they're confiding something with you, right? It's important that you listen. And we're going to talk about that in the as we round up the discussion. So before any of that, let's give a couple of last minute shout outs to our live chat, Sister Bell. Actually, I'll do it right? Before we get into our musical break. Our sister Dessa Senas is sharing with us chips crisp in Pinoy, chichiria. Did I say that correctly? Chichiria. I feel like that should have been part of our icebreaker. Say it your way. Chichiria. Um, and chips Pinoy. Chips. Kuya Roy Kahayag says, gave us another acronym for the word listen. Listening in seriousness to each neighbor. Ate Zenaida is saying hello to us there. She's there in our live chat. She's tuned in as well with, of course, Sister Melvi Tamayo and Sister Abigail Villari saying hello to pretty Sister Bell, to handsome Brother Jay. And I'm going to add this one here, Poggy, Brother Stan, and to all the brethren, all the kapatids watching here from from Bayonne local district of New Jersey. So hello to Sister Abigail that's tuned in with us as well. And yes, with that, I think I've read all of the insights from our live chat. What we're gonna do before we get into the final part of the discussion, we're gonna take another quick musical break. This next INC original music that we'll be listening to is titled Almost Home. Enjoy, everyone. We'll be right back after this.
I know it's been so long since you felt free
Welcome back, everyone. This is Faith and Melody, and we are now on the final part of our conversation today. And we really only have one thing just to round off our discussion about the language of listening, because we've talked about why it's important that we're listening, right? We talked about some of the misunderstandings, and sometimes those misunderstandings in listening can lead to something funny. But at other times as well, let's not ignore the fact that sometimes misunderstandings when you're not listening or you're not being present minded can also cause uh, some cracks in the relationship, right? So we have to be careful with that. So with this final part of our conversation, we want to ask, what are some of the things that you do to make someone feel that you're listening to them? All right, it's very important that we have some way to show that we are actually listening without just ignoring the other person. So what are some ways that you do, that you use, right, to show that you're there, that you're listening to them, to what they're saying? Over here on the panel, you've got yours truly, your brother Jay, and our sister Belle, and our brother Stan, Amandi there. But of course, all our Ohana that's tuned in live with us right now. Love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear what you do to make sure that you are showing that the other person, that they know that you are listening to them. Let's ask our brother Stan first. For him, what's some things that you do, Kuya, for to show that you're actually listening to the person?
I show up and
Mm,
give my time to them. That's really important. That's how you really value them, and if you know that if you're listening to them, because sometimes, right, if you're with your friends where it kind of maybe far from distance, but showing up and making that time for them sends a message where you really care for them and you really will listen to them, and of course catering to their needs, right? Asking them if we're just there to listen, or if are we there to listen and give advice, or just sit there basically to be a comfort for them, somebody to be with. It's very important. So for me, the most important characteristics to be able to know that if a person is listening is if they show up and if they
mm,
give their time to you, because that's really important now. You know, we live in the world where we get busy and our schedules might not be in the same block of time, right? So it's important to have that time with them and be able to really have that quality time and showing up. Because if you show up, that means you care.
oh, I like that. Yeah. When you show up, it means that you care, right? And I also like what you said in terms of what was it? Like uh, asking them, like, am I just, do you need me to just listen to you, or do you want to hear
Mm,
my thoughts? Because I do the same thing, but from the opposite side. Like if I want to speak to Sister Jem, I tell her, I just need to tell you something, or I need to get your thoughts on this, right? So I
mm,
almost like tell her as well. I let her know, hey, I just need you to like I just want to share something with you, or I want to get your feedback as well. What do you think about this? And then you know, go on my little rant. But with that, Sister Belle, how about for you? Like, what are some of the things that you do in terms of making the other person know, not just like showing that, making them feel that you're listening, but actually you are listening? Like, what do you do?
Well, engaging by asking follow-up questions, or um answer with like enthusiasm, or just show empathy towards the situation that they are sharing with you. It doesn't it doesn't mean that you have to do it for them, like get through it for them or solve it for them. Sometimes they just need someone to open up to and feel comforted by. So it's also important to show that you are listening in a way where you use your body language by nodding, and even like patting their backs, to comfort them. And as you mentioned earlier, Kreya, when like it's a good conversation when there's a listener, because they pay attention to detail, and you
Mm,
don't have to um, repeat yourself many times. For example, you say something that you've carried out throughout the conversation, and then at some point they say, oh, what was that again? And you feel like, oh, so you haven't been listening this whole time. So it's just really important to you know, remember all those details as well, because at the end of the day, it's those little details that make you feel, you know, like make them feel like you are actually listening to them, and that you are interested in what they're saying, and that you are really present in that very moment. KJ.
You know how I think I wanted to add to that is that do you know how to make someone feel like they're wanted? And one of my answers, my own personal take on this is you give them attention, right? And not in a negative attention seeking kind of way, but like if they are talking, if they are sharing something to you, especially if it's something in a point where they trust you as their one of their close friends, right? People that they can trust, like you actually give them your attention. Like Kuya Stan said earlier, like showing up, giving them your time. Like time is one of the most limited and precious commodities that I mean, things that we all have, but we only have a limited amount of time, right? That we can utilize. But then if you say, I'm gonna, this time is for you, right? You're giving them your time. That's already a big thing. But when you're there, it's like being present. I found out that for me, one of the things that I end up doing, subconsciously, I lean in, right? I lean in when we're talking to someone, especially if they're sharing something. Like I end up like just kind of like this a little bit, like leaning in, kind of like leaning into the camera, even though I'm looking into the camera, but you guys are off to the side. You know, Ate Zenaida also shared this because I was gonna add this on. Ate Zenaida said, versus her comment, eye contact, eye contact during conversations, right? By online, we can use emojis, emoticons, and show your smile all the time. Right. So eye contact is important, and being distraction free, right? So not having your phone on you, not looking down on your phone when they're telling you something, not like looking at something else or giving instructions to another friend or to something like that, right? It's basically eye contact, being present, like looking almost into their soul, right? When you're talking to them, kind of like shows that you're actually listening. I love as well about follow-up questions, because you can't ask follow-up questions right? If you're not listening to them, like your
Yeah.
follow up question was like, yeah, did like you're talking about sports and the other person's like talking about where did this come from? It's like, were you even listening to what I was saying? I was talking about, what happened to me. It's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the game, right? So follow up questions and all that stuff comes from paying attention, being present. So that's something that I also try to keep in mind. Well, some of those things kind of like just ends up being from practice. Well, not practice, but like just having more conversations with someone, right? So it's important that you can ask a friend, hey, how can I be a better listener to you? I don't know if you've got anyone like that that you can ask, how can I be a better listener? But could you stand just before we wrap everything up, because I just realized that we're kind of like really running out of time. Do you have any other things that you do to make the other person feel that you're listening?
I already agree what the panel has said already, giving that attention and be able to really just show up in that quality time, make sure asking for clarification, and as well us back to basics too, right? Like the eye to eye contact,
Mm,
the emotion that you're reacting to the person. You need to watch out for those, right? And that's really important, because if the person sees that you're reacting and you're kind of in a good way, right, in a good way, and you're having eye contact with them, then you're really and being mentally there. um l- you might be physically there, but sometimes, like, when you're getting distracted, you're mentally not there, so you need to be also mentally there for them as well. So be that mental support as well for them, right? So yeah, as long you but for me, talaga, it's just the when you show up, that's when you really understand a person, where they care about them because they're going through a challenging time. Therefore, when they show up, they do really care and give that love and that concern for you, and they would do anything to make sure that you feel happy and like comforted, like comfortable, basically.
Yeah. I mean, like even in this situation when we're talking to each other online, right, Kristan and to Sister Bell, it's like even though for us we've got a lot of things going on, we're trying to also connect with our Ohana and live chat, our sharing, and then we're communicating behind the scenes and all that sort of stuff. We're still trying to pay attention, right? So it's really hard. I think for us, especially for INC radio hosts, like we really realize it. Like we have been put into that position when we realize when you're doing too many things, you can't pay attention to the discussion, right? It's always that. It's like um, it's a hard skill to try and develop multitasking because it's just difficult to do, right? So we do our best here, but definitely if you're doing it in person, especially with a friend, someone, your confidant, right? Someone that you really care for, that you love, that you actually remove those distractions. They don't need to be there, then they don't need to be. Those distractions don't need to be there, and you focus on the person. Let them know that you're there for them, that you're listening, not only to what they're saying, how they're saying it, and their body language. There's so many ways that you can improve that you are listening and being a better friend to that person. And with that, I know that we're sort of running short on time, but I think we've had a beautiful discussion here. So glad from what everyone has been sharing, our Ohana there in live chat, but also Kuya Stan for joining us here on the panel. We've all shared our own personal thoughts and opinions here. But of course, we want to also move on to this final segment that we have here on Faith and Melody, our verse of the week, which is for this verse of the week. I'm going to ask Sister Bell to introduce the topic for our verse of the week this week. Go ahead, Sister Bell.
So, for this week's topic, it'll be how to communicate better in a relationship. That'll be with Brother Charlton Eric Flores, a minister of the gospel.
Do you want to improve your relationship with your loved ones? The Bible teaches us what we should remember to have better communication with those in our lives. Hi, I'm Brother Charlton Eric Flores, and that's what I will share with you today in this verse of the week, here in Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. Let your conversation be gracious and attractive, so that you will have the right response for everyone. So you see, we need to be gracious in our conversations with others. That means when we speak to our family and friends, or even complete strangers, our tone should be pleasant and we should speak with kindness. Of course, we should also do our best to stay focused and fully present when we're having a conversation with someone. This is how we can maintain a good rapport with the people in our lives and improve our relationships. Being respectful is also needed to have a pleasant conversation. So, let's be respectful to everyone we speak to, especially our elders. We hope you've gained wisdom and inspiration from this verse of the week. And if you know someone who could benefit from this episode, please share this short video with them. This is our verse of the week. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay faithful. God bless.
And we hope that this verse of the week has brought you even more inspiration as well as our topic discussion. And thank you so much to Brother Charlton Eric Flores for that wonderful reminder as in additional inspiration for the week ahead. And if you would like to know more about our faith here inside the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, just email us on faithandmelody@incradio.net. And listening is an act of kindness that can brighten up someone's day and even strengthen bonds and friendships and also relationships. So, being quick to listen and slow to speak can bring such an understanding and joy, not only to them, but also to us, so that we can feel closer to them. And so let's practice the language of listening in all our relationships. I would like to greet everyone who was able to support us today and share their thoughts and insights. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. And I would also like to thank our brother Stan for joining us today. Thank you so much. And Kuya Jay, of course. And I would also like to greet my family, my mom, Aterica, Arian, Samsam, and Dandan. And also tomorrow on the 4th of February is going to be Arian's birthday. So happy advanced birthday. But I think it's already the 4th there in the Philippines. So yeah, happy birthday to Arian.
Happy birthday, Sister Ariane. For me, I just want to quickly give a quick shout out to final greetings. Ka Priscilla Batan is there, tuned in, saying good morning po, Miss Beautiful Carolyn Shanks. A special greeting to Ate Care. Stay blessed and well, healthy, watching from Rizal. Ate Melvita Tamayo says it's important to be present. Listen attentively by paying close attention to what they're saying and not listening to respond by thinking of what to say already instead of letting them finish first. Listen to understand and not listen to respond. And last one from Akuya Rod Kahayag is final acronym for today with the word communication, creating open-minded measures, understanding natural, inspirational communications, always thankful in one's nobility. Wow, Kuya Rod. So again, thank you to everyone as well. I'm gonna give a chance for Kuya Stan to give his final greetings and shout outs.
Thank you so much, Kuya Jay. You know, to learn is to be inspired. So thank you to everyone as well, to our Ohana there. Thank you to Kuya Jay and to Sister Belle for today's topic, a wonderful topic for today. You know, if you want to share this episode, share with your family and friends. It is a wonderful topic to, to learn the language of listening. And I just want to greet my family as well, there. And I just wanted to greet as well my District of Calgary, Canada. Of course, to our district minister, po, our brother Voltaire A. Temisin, and to our assistant district supervising minister, Other Ellie Yarcia po. And to everybody po there in the District of Calgary, Canada, stay safe po and have a warm morning for all of us.
Thank you, Kuya Stan, again to Sister Bella as well. And make sure you join tomorrow's episode of Faith and Melody with our host, Sister Carolyn Shank. The topic for tomorrow is Journey Through Life. Thank you again to everyone that's joined in, shared their insights, our technical team, our Kuya Nico, Kuya Irene, there in the main studio. Maraming salamat po to Sister Desacenas and to Brother Edwin Asabuki. And of course, our INCRadio station manager, Brother Wally Tarai. And most importantly, above all, a special heartfelt thanks and acknowledgments to our CEBSI President, CEO, and CFO Coordinator, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, and our Executive Minister of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo.
And for our next program, we will have the Iglesia Ni Cristo and the Bible. And today's topic is the right decision and the right choice with brothers Jonas Ira and brother Mandy Nepomuceno. And for our closing song for our show today, it'll be the INC original music entitled The Power of Prayer." I'm your sister Belle here with Kuya Jay and brother Stan, and we hope that we've made the start of your week extra meaningful. Join us again tomorrow on the next episode of Faith and Melody, and stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great start to the week.
Your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
Lift Church of, we're all members of the Church of Christ.
Your requested song. Our favorites. Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.